Hey, everybody. Welcome to our team meeting tonight. We have a special guest, Jackie Ferguson. She's awesome. She's a brand new Ruby ambassador. Jackie just hit Ruby the end of last month, right, Jackie? Where'd she go?
I'm here. Sorry. Yes, just last month I did.
Yes, just last month. So a brand new Ruby ambassador, but not new to Plexus. She's been working hard for a couple of years. And I will say, even though I don't know her well, I know of her because she has been solid and steady the entire time I have known her. And she is the epiphany of never giving up. She seeks God and has prayerfully sought this business in a way that I really admire. So I'm excited about this call, and I'm going to change. Jackie, I don't know if you can change the way the view looks so that the recording is just you, but that's okay. Anyway, take it away, Jackie.
Okay. All right. So I just want to start off with a little disclaimer. My shareholder, aka husband, is not home. So I have two boys watching a movie right here, and I have a baby sleeping in the room. So I can't guarantee that there will not be any interruptions. So just a little disclaimer from the get-go. But I'm really excited to be sharing with you guys tonight. Last month was an incredible, amazing month. The Lord just showed up. So I wanted to share a little bit about my journey to Ruby with all of you, and just share some tips of what kind of helped me get to this place where I'm at today. And hopefully it will help you guys. So if you guys don't mind though, I'm going to open up in prayer before we get started. So Lord, we just come to you, God, and I just thank you so much for each and every person that is on this call tonight, God. And I just pray, Lord Jesus, that as I share my heart and as I share my journey, God, that, Lord, it would help them in their businesses, God. If anybody is feeling discouraged, if anybody feels like they're ready to give up, or if anybody's just getting started, I just pray, God, that whatever it is, they would get a nugget from what we have to share tonight. So I just thank you in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay, so I started Plexus in September of 2014, and we were a one-income family. The Lord called me to be a stay-at-home mom with my children 8 years ago when my first child, my daughter, was born. And so we could not afford Plexus. And when I say that we could not afford Plexus, there was no extra. And so when I started Plexus 3 days into my friend gave me a 7-day trial, I realized that it was helping with my blood sugar. It was making me a better mommy already. It was giving me energy. And so it was such a huge difference that my husband was like, okay, so we need to figure out how to get you some more of this stuff. And so he was like, well, just pray about it, and really seek the Lord, see if this is something that the business would help us. And so I prayed, and I remember in my devotions that day, it was in Proverbs, it said, commit to the Lord your plans and your plans will succeed. And I really felt like that was a word from God, just like, okay, you do this, you jump in, you go ahead. And so my husband and I scrounged up the money that we didn't have, and we just jumped in. We did it. And before I even got my welcome pack, before I even started the product, I posted on Facebook. And I didn't really, back then we had a lot of support, but it was different back then. There wasn't as much training and opportunities as we have now. There wasn't like Zooms and things like that. And so I just jumped in and I started posting right away. And not to lie, I was scared to death my first post. I was just like, okay. And I was reaching out to my friend who signed me up, Michelle. And I'm like, well, what do I post? Where do I find posts and stuff? And so she just told me about, friending other people on the team and kind of getting posts from them. And so I started posting, and I started sharing right away with friends and family. And I love it. My aunt is on this call, and she was one of the first people that I shared Plexus with almost 4 years ago. And she didn't join my team, I think, for 2.5 years. So it took like 2.5 years of working on her. And now the products have done amazing for her. So don't give up on those family members, because we have something that people need. And so for me in the beginning, when I started, it went fast. I remember I was getting customers, I was getting ambassadors, I was, ranking up. I think I ranked up to senior gold within like 6 months, 6 or 7 months. So it was super, super fast. Boom, boom, boom. And then I hit senior gold and I just hit this wall. And I remember I had a gold ambassador on my team who had this rock star on her team, and that girl ended up quitting. So her whole entire team went with her, and my points just went down so much. I was way under senior gold, and I was like, okay, this is hard. And I remember I reached a point when I was just comparing my journey with everybody else. And I remember I got added to some other team pages of Sideline Sisters that were kind of at the same rank as me. And I remember just seeing them, go up the ranks super fast. And not to name any names, Alyssa Welch. And it was kind of hard for me. I'm not going to lie. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, that's my first thing, is do not compare your journey with others. And you will hear that so much. And it's really hard, but you really do have to put your blinders on and know, this is my journey. And if you're putting the work in and you're doing what you need to do, then it's going to happen in the perfect timing. And so I remember I had to kind of pull back and pull myself off of those team pages. And I reached a place, it was a 2-year journey from senior gold to get, actually more than 2 years, to get from senior gold to ruby. So it took me a while to get there. And in that time, so I'm just going to kind of share what the Lord put on my heart. So if I kind of look over here, I'm looking at notes. But as I was really thinking and praying about what to share with you, the Lord put a verse on my heart, and it's Joshua chapter 1, verse 9. And it says, "Have I not commanded you, be strong and courageous. Do not be terrified. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." And this story in the Bible is when the Israelites were about to cross the Jordan River and go into the promised land. And they were facing some giants. And the Lord was speaking to Joshua, and he was like, don't be afraid. Don't be discouraged, because I'm going before you. And so I'm just going to kind of share a little story with you guys, a little backstory of me. For those of you who don't know, when I was 19 years old, I was a full-blown methamphetamine addict, and I was actually facing prison time. And I was headed nowhere. And God brought me to a program called Teen Challenge. Well, this program, it's a faith-based program, and it's a free program. So you don't have to pay to go. So when you're in this program, you actually fundraise. So very humbling, but I had to stand in front of stores for 8 to 10 hours, and I had to go door to door and tell people about this program, about this ministry. And you know what? I am such a go-getter that I actually loved fundraising. It was like my joy while I was in this program, because I got to get out and talk to people, and I'm really driven. But anyways, I had a necklace when I was in the program that actually had that verse, "Have I not commanded you, be strong and courageous?" And I just remember when I would go up, my heart would beat a little bit when I was about to go up to those doors and knock on those doors. And I would just read it was a little shield. And I would just read that verse, and I felt like God just would give me courage and help me to be brave. And so I looked up that verse, or that word, strong, and the definition was not easily disturbed. And the reason why I'm kind of applying this in our business is because I don't know about you guys, but if you've been in this business for a while, we have to have strong skin, thick skin. We have to be not easily disturbed. I think I hear a baby. Hold on. No. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, so he is crying, but I'm gonna let him cry. We have to be strong. We have to have thick skin. We have to not get easily discouraged. There's always going to be disappointments. There's always going to be discouragements that come in this business. Unfortunately, we will lose customers. There are people who just don't want to push through that die off. or we will lose ambassadors that will, you know, join our team and they'll think, okay, well, this isn't for me. You might have people unfriend you on Facebook or unfollow you. Or this is a big one I've seen happen over the past 3 years, is people will join somebody else's team. And so these are some of the disappointments and discouragements that I have seen derail people. People just want to quit after that. And so if you can just kind of like, it's a mindset thing, just in your head, like, okay, I lost a customer, I'm going to let that push me to find somebody else. You know, and I feel like that's, for me, that's what I have learned. Like, okay, somebody just canceled their auto or their subscription, so I got to find somebody else now, and let it push you forward instead of stop you in your tracks, because that discouragement and that comparison, it can stop you right where you're at. And I feel like that's kind of what happened to me in my journey to Ruby, is I got kind of discouraged and I just let it kind of just, I was kind of just complacent, just not moving forward. And so just have that mindset, like, I will not let these things move me. And I promise you that you will go places. It's that never give up kind of attitude. And so the next thing is that we have to have courage. And I looked up the definition of courage, and it says the strength of purpose that enables one to withstand fear or difficulty. And you guys, we are going to have times where we have fear when we're in this business, and we're going to have times of difficulty. Like, I was scared before I got on this call right now. My heart was like beating and stuff. So we're going to have to do things we're afraid to do. And we just have to remember that God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and a sound mind. And like, that's another verse that I stand on when I feel afraid. Like, no, he's given me that power and that sound mind. And I think one thing I see a lot is fear of man. You know, a lot of people are afraid of what people will think of them. Like, you know, I'm afraid to reach out to them. What are they going to think of me? Or I'm afraid to post this. What are they going to think of me? And when you change your mindset to just, okay, we have something that people need. We have life-changing products. We have a life-changing business. And when you have that mindset, it really removes that fear of reaching out to people, because you have something that can change their life. And so don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to friend people on Facebook that you don't know. And that, I think, is where my business began to change. I mean, I've always kind of added friends, but I started reaching out to people that, you know, maybe we had mutual friends that weren't somebody that I would normally add. And I started using the magic message a lot, which I'm going to get to that. I'm getting ahead of myself. Sorry. So don't be, in the verse next, it says, do not be terrified, do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. I still get nervous when I'm out, you know, in public, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to talk to this mommy. My heart will still beat really fast. But if you push through that fear, then you will meet amazing people. Like, I have some people from my team on this call that joined my team, and I had never met them before. And now they're like amazing friends. So don't be afraid to reach out to people that you don't know. Okay. Don't let discouragement keep you from moving forward. If looking at your points or looking in your back office gets you frustrated, then you want to take your focus off of your points and just get to work. I know that was another thing that I really feel like stalled me out in my business, is I was always looking in my back office. Like, I would try to see, okay, who quit today, or, you know, and I feel like once I stopped focusing so much on people quitting and my points going down, and just focused on getting to work and doing my own IPAs, then that's when I began to really see a change in my business as well. And so I'm just going to kind of go through 10 things that I feel like really helped change the course of my business. The number one thing is that you never ever give up. You guys, there were so many times I wanted to give up. I had people in my life, very close people, who would tell me, well, why do you have to get to the top? Why do you have to get to the next rank? Why is it so important? And so many naysayers trying to tell me, like, just give up, just who cares? And I think when you know what your why is, that is going to help you keep pushing when those naysayers come. And I knew, my why was that the products had changed my life and that I've seen these products change so many people's lives. And so I wasn't going to stop sharing. So just know what your why is and never ever give up. The next thing, and you guys, these are basic things that I feel like you guys hear probably every day from diamonds and everything that you listen to, but it's true. Like, these simple things, if you just put these into practice, then you're not going to fail in this business. Okay, so the next thing is post every single day. I have been in this business for almost 4 years, and I've probably missed like 1 or 2 days, but you want to post at least once every single day. And you really want to learn how to learn about branding, learn about, not just posting. Like, I share posts with people sometimes, borrow posts from other people. I think that's okay to do every once in a while, but I think you really want to make the post your own. Like, share your life with people, be vulnerable with people. People want to see you. And I remember hearing a training that, reality shows are so popular now, and it's people want to see your life. They want to see vulnerability. So be vulnerable in your posting. The next thing is to be Plexus. And what do I mean by be Plexus? Like, as a Plexus ambassador, our life should represent health. Our life should be positive. Our life should be Plexus. We should be, showing the world that we're making healthy eating choices, showing the world that we are exercising. And I think, like, get the Plexus gear. I have Plexus hats, Plexus shirts. And I think when you are that and you represent and brand yourself as the Plexus person, then people will naturally want to come to you. And I've had that happen. People will find me on Facebook and just be like, well, I saw that you post all the time, and so I decided I want to come to you. Or people at church will call me the Plexus lady. But I just feel like when people know that you're serious about this and that this is a very serious part of your life, then they are more likely to trust you and to come to you to join your team or to order product from you. Okay, so number 4, which I already kind of talked about, is don't get fixated on your points and ranking up or getting to the next rank. I think when we just focus on helping other people, and it's so funny because as I'm saying all these things, I remember hearing trainings that say these things. But really, like, when I stopped focusing, like, I'm going to get to Ruby, I feel like that's when things started to really change, because I was just doing my IPAs daily. I was doing the work that I needed to do, and it just happened. So, okay, so number 5 is be your own rock star. And you guys hear this all the time, but I think when you are just doing your IPAs, reaching out to people, getting those new customers, getting those new ambassadors, then your team will begin to see it, and it really builds belief in your team. And so I used to always be like, I just want to find that rock star. I just want to find that rock star. And of course, we still want to find that rock star. But if you be your own rock star, then things really begin to change in your business. Okay, number 6 is don't wait around for people who say they're going to sign up. It's really easy to be like, okay, I have these 3 people that say they're going to sign up. And you guys know how that is. People will say they're going to sign up, and then they don't sign up, and then it takes a long time. So don't stop there and wait for those people to sign up. Keep looking for new people. Keep reaching out to new people. It's a numbers game. The more people you reach out to, the more likely you are to find those people who are going to join you or get the products. Number 7 is getting your, okay, I'm gonna go grab the baby real quick. I'm sorry, you guys, he's screaming.
More proof that you can have a newborn and do this business, right? Poor baby.
Oh, goodness. Baby. Yeah, okay. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so number 7, get your new ambassadors started off strong. This is what I was afraid would happen. Hold on 1 second. I'm just gonna mute and put him, nurse him.
Do what you need to do. I'll just share why Jackie's getting situated. Is we just talked about this in our book study of getting your ambassadors starting off strong. Is is she? Who was it that shared that? They shared that you have your new person on the phone when they're signing up. You talk them through the process so that they're, ordering their welcome pack and getting their subscription on. And then you have them immediately go into their own virtual office, into the shareables. And so they can go in there then, and oh, Kara, thank you. They can go in there and get the information on the products that they can learn about the products. Plus then they'll have those shareables at their fingertips to send to other people if they have people get interested. So, I don't know what Jackie's going to share, but I thought that was a great tip. Kara, are you on here still? Yes, she is. What else did I miss on that?
This was a tip from a diamond. It was actually a Plexus corporate call, but yeah, they were just saying, start your training right away when you're getting these people. So using the sign up process as your first training with them, and being on the phone so that when they get to the part where they need to put their social security number. Well, why do I need my social? Well, with Plexus, you can make commissions based off of your own products that you're purchasing. And if you make a certain amount of money at the end of the year, they're going to send you a 1099. And then it kind of just defeats, any the scariness of that. So yeah, that was really just it. Was you're training them without them realizing they're being trained, and then you're giving them tools to educate themselves and then propel their business, because they didn't know what all these products could do. And hey, I know so-and-so who suffers from severe inflammation, and they could really utilize ease. So it was just another tip from a diamond.
Love it. Thank you.
That's awesome. Okay, sorry you guys, little intermission there.
Don't be sorry.
Okay, so what I have been doing lately is I make sure that I get my new ambassadors on a Zoom, either an in-person training with them a couple of days after they sign up, or on a Zoom. And so some people, and I'm going to tell you guys ahead right away that not everybody will get on these little Zooms. Like, you may sign up 3 people and 2 of them will get on the Zoom with you. Some people just don't do it. They don't commit to it. But what I do is I just tell them, I say, hey, you know what? I want to help you get started strong in your business. And so I would love to just connect with you, go over any questions that you might have, talk about how to get started on the products. And what else do we talk about? I go over any questions, go over the comp plan with them if they want to. Sometimes I feel like the comp plan can be overwhelming to people if you go over it right away. But if you just explain a couple of the ways that they can get paid, and I talk about Okay, Andrea, you take over for a minute.
Okay, I was just going to say, I think that's a great idea, because you can take 30 minutes of time and give them a one-on-one training and address their specific questions. What was the one she mentioned? Seriously, she's saying so many things that come back to this book that we were just talking about. Are you guys like shaking your head going, yeah? So it's awesome how it all comes full circle. It's kind of like when you're reading the Bible and God puts a Bible verse on your heart. It's like, oh, wait, that applies to this and this and this. And he just brings it all together. One of the things, and I'm going to ask Jackie this later, if she puts a time limit on how long she's on those Zoom calls, like if she says, let's do a 30-minute call or a 30-minute Zoom or whatever, because I think that would be helpful to know. And then you can say, okay, I've got 30 minutes. And that's a super duplicatable thing to do. You could say, okay, we'll just take 30 minutes. We'll get squared away on what products you're taking and how to take them. You can take notes, or we'll review the email that I sent you together. I'm going to tell you the 3 ways you can earn money with Plexus. And then you can tell me 3 of your friends maybe that want to do this. And if you want to get your products paid for this month, we can reach out to them today. So I love that idea, Jackie.
Perfect.
So Jackie, I could talk all day. So you tell me when you're ready to get on.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so the next thing is doing Zooms for potentials. I have a couple of gals on my team that are awesome at setting up those Zooms. And basically we just, they get them on, I share my story, and they kind of tell me the backdrop of like what they're dealing with, their health issues, if they're a stay-at-home mom. And then I get on there with them and I just kind of share my story. And I think we've had almost 100% sign up rate.
Awesome. So do you do those instead of like 3-way calls, Jackie?
Yes, I prefer Zoom because I feel like face-to-face is so much more effective than talking on the phone. And one of my girls, Carissa, she's on the call. She is amazing. She sets up like 3 Zooms a week. And I think it's just not being afraid to say, hey, I'm going to get you on this video conferencing call, and I want you to just hear my friend's story. And when they get on the call, I just share the story. And it usually takes about 20-30 minutes because then they ask questions. And that's for the after they sign up Zoom too, about 20-30 minutes. I just talk about their why and their goals, like what do they want to get from the business. And I tell them, because you are crazy, he's like looking at me, smiling, crying. He doesn't know what he wants to do right
awesome
now. I think he's just mad at me because I let him cry in the crib for a while and I never let him cry.
That'll teach him.
But he's like, what are you doing to me, Mom?
Can I just ask a question? Was the Zoom one, was that 7 or was that 8? Because I think I missed 8.
That was that is actually number 7. Getting your new ambassadors started off
On
strong.
Zoom. Okay. I just couldn't hear it before because he didn't want me to hear it. So I just wanted to ask.
Sorry, you guys.
No,
Okay,
don't be sorry. I'm just saying.
I'm going to get through number 8 and 9 and 10, and then we'll ask questions. Okay, so number 8 is work hard to get ambassadors to set up their subscriptions. That's super important, you guys. I've seen firsthand that if they don't set up their subscription, most of the time they will not order again. And that's why I'm really training my team that it's super important to get a 90-day commitment from people before they sign up. And you'll still get the 90-day commitment, and some people will still not order again. So it's going to happen. But if you're doing your due diligence from the get-go, like before people sign up, just say, and this is how I say it, I just say, hey, if you want to sign up as an ambassador, I ask that people who join my team give me a 90-day commitment. And if you don't want to do a 90-day commitment, then let's just get you signed up as a preferred customer. You could try it out. And then when you love it, I don't say if you love it, I say when you love it, we'll upgrade you to an ambassador. So that's kind of how I do that. So I think that's super, super important to see, not having your points go backwards, because we want to see your points go forward. And it's still going to happen. You guys, I'm going to be honest with you guys, like the past few months where my team has really been exploding and growing, I would get so frustrated because we would sign like 30 people and then my points would go up like 20 points. And it's like, what is going on? So it really just, I think is so important to talk to people about getting those subscriptions on and the 90-day commitment. I feel like that has helped kind of bring a turnaround. Because if you get people on our products for 90 days and you coach them in taking their products, they're gonna fall in love with them if they take them consistently. So I think that's why it's so important. Okay, so number 9, communicate and coach your new customers and ambassadors effectively. And we recently just heard a training, I don't know where I heard it, but she talked about how she puts in, when somebody signs up, she automatically puts in her calendar to follow up with them a week later, a week later, a week later. So 4 times in the first month, every week. And so I've been doing that. As soon as I get a customer, I use my phone. I'm not a paper girl, so I put everything in my phone. I just put, okay, follow up with this person a week from today. And then I do it 4 times within the first month. And that way you're coaching, the better we coach people, the better customer service we give them, the more likely they are to have success with the products. And another thing too is you always want to tell people upfront about die off. Like, just tell them, you know, you might have some serious crazy detox. And that way when they start having those results or having, you know, weird symptoms, they know what's going on. And that way if you're communicating with them, they will be telling you what's going on as well. So that's super, super important. And I think that's what's really helped me keep my PV for so long, is because I have a lot of customers that have been my customers for a long time. They're people who don't want to be ambassadors and they just love the product. And so if you see that, you know, I've had high PV, it's because I think from customer service and serving your customers. Okay, so finally, number 10, just a reminder to be strong. You guys, don't let things move you. Don't let discouragement disarm you. And be courageous. Don't let fear stop you. Don't be afraid of what anybody will think of you. Don't be afraid of what people will say, because we have something that people need. So I'll just end with that. And if anybody has any questions, just let me know.
That was awesome, Jackie. So just unmute yourself if you have a question.
I have a question.
Okay.
It's Marcy.
Hi, Marcy.
Hi, Jackie. Thank you. I kind of missed the first couple tips, but it is recorded, so I'll go back and listen to it. But I think my challenge mostly is just I try and say I'm the master of retention, but it's when I do sign, you know, preferred customers up and doing the follow up like you did, because I heard that one, I think it was the diamond that said follow up every week. But I tend to get, like, one, for instance, she just doesn't respond back. So I don't know, you know, what to do with that. I've left messages, you know, texted her, you know, how you doing?
Yeah, and you know what? Like, when that happens, there's really nothing you can do. Like, we do our due diligence, and if they don't respond, then it's a bummer, because, you know, they're not going to get the full benefit of what we have. But I will tell you that in doing this for 4 years, I have had a lot of people try it and come back to me. So I've had ambassadors that quit and come back. So it might just not be their time. Yeah. And so if you just, you know, keep following, like, maybe just back off for a little bit. Like, I have one ambassador that signed up a couple months ago, and she's kind of not responding. So I'm like, I'm going to back off, and then I'll just revisit it, like, in 6 months, and just be like, hey girl, like, are you ready to do this? Are you ready to give it a shot again? And so, yeah, cause we don't want to pester people.
Right. Yeah.
But I think sometimes, you know, with the passion that we have, it's hard, because we're just like, this can change it's like, this can change your life. But yeah, so I say just back off for a little bit and then revisit it in a couple of months.
Okay. Thank you.
That's excellent advice. One thing I'll tell you in regards to customers is that when I get people that don't respond, you know, they don't eat, drink, and breathe Plexus like we do. So when we're reaching out to them, we're thinking that, oh, they're going to respond, you know, right away because they're loving it. Well, they might still be loving it, but I've also just completely been honest when I've reached out to them 3 or 4 times and they haven't responded. And I've said, so I'm guessing from you're not responding that you're not happy with the products. If that's the case, that doesn't need to be that way. Let's get your routine tweaked, and let's make sure you're getting the success that you want. So I just kind of call them out saying, if you're unhappy with the products, or a lot of times they haven't even started it yet.
Yeah.
And they're like too embarrassed to respond and say, okay, you should be week 3. So your order is going to process next week. And let's, I just want to check in with you and make sure that you know that that's happening. And sometimes when you have a call to action, then they're a little more likely to respond.
Okay.
But it's
That's
still,
good too.
still
Yeah.
people that don't respond. Still.
Yeah, and that just made me think of something else I wanted to share too, is don't be afraid to keep following up with people. And I just have a story that I tell people. I have this girl, a Monet girl, that was trying to get me to buy her product. And I truly, literally did want to try it. And she followed up with me and she's like, okay, are you going to do it? And I was like, I'm really busy right now. I can't order right now. I'm going to get to it. And I totally forgot about it, like just forgot. And she never followed up with me again. And so then my other friends started selling Monet and I was like, well, but if she would have followed up with me, then I probably would have ordered.
Perfect
So
example.
just remember that, like, people aren't, like Andrea said, like, people aren't thinking Plexus all the time like us, and they're busy. Like, they might have a baby or something like me that likes to scream. And so just remember that, and don't be afraid that you'll feel like you're bugging them, but you're not.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Hi, Jackie. It's Stephanie.
Hi, Stephanie.
My question is, how do you balance, because you're like in our team, you're like on the highest of our PV board. So how do you balance between PV and like adding new ambassadors? I know you said that if you get a 90-day commitment, then you generally sign them up as an ambassador, I think. But
Yeah.
I mean, what's your reasoning, or if you could go into further detail with that?
Yeah, like for me, I present the business to everybody. So when I'm talking to people, then I tell them, like, you can join as a wholesale customer, as an ambassador. You can get the cheapest price. You still get the 60-day money back guarantee, and you have the opportunity to get your product covered for sharing with your friends and family.
Oops.
And so that's how I present it to people. And if they say, I'm not interested in the business, I just want the product, that's how I determine it. So I'm like, okay, well then let's get you signed up as a preferred customer. You get a discounted price and you still get the 60-day money back guarantee. And then I always end it with, when you love the product, we'll upgrade you to an ambassador so you can start sharing with friends and family. And so that's how I do it. We always want to present the business first. And then if they're not interested in that, then I get them as an ambassador or customer.
Stephanie, are you done? Because I have kind of a follow-up question to that.
Yes, I'm done. Thank you.
Jackie, you mentioned that you have a lot of customers that have been with you a long time. Have you ever gone to them and said, you could get wholesale at this point? Or, I mean, I know they're getting the preferred minus the additional 10%.
Yeah.
But have you crunched the numbers to see, would it be cost effective for them to switch to an ambassador? And would it be advantageous for you as an ambassador to have them switch to the wholesale part?
I do always present it to them, but I'm very cautious with that, because in the past, I have had people who are like, they don't want to upgrade, but they just do it to help me out. You know what I mean? Like, maybe I'm trying to get an ambassador for a contest or something, and I'm like, well, let's just get you upgraded. And I've had a few people that they upgrade and then they stop taking the product. Like, for some reason, something happens. And so I'm really cautious about it. I always offer and present the business to them, or to get the cheapest price. But I have found, it's pretty much the same price once they get their discount. So if I feel like it's going to mess something up, then I just leave them as a customer.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Anyone else have any other questions?
Yeah, I do. Jackie, I missed number 3.
Number 3 was be Plexus. So basically, have your Plexus swag, represent Plexus, and everywhere you go, be Plexus.
Okay, thank you.
And you guys, everywhere you go, you have the opportunity to meet new people, and you might not be talking to them about Plexus right away, but you know, like I love when my kids play sports because that's an opportunity to meet new moms and to get new, and I don't like automatically just talk about Plexus. Like I will try to just talk with them, build relationships, ask them if they're on Facebook, and usually that's how. I never really talk to people about Plexus in person. I always do it through Facebook. I don't know, it's easier for me. So I just friend them on Facebook, and then I let them see my post for a little bit, and then I will approach the idea of asking them if they're interested. And I use the magic message. If you guys don't know what the magic message is, you have to learn about that because that has really helped me in my business as well. And I could go on and on and on and on and on. So
Okay, so you got to tell us the magic it's the Sonia Stringer one, right?
I don't know where it originated from, but I just heard actually on one of the things today, one of the Diamond ambassadors talking about it. And what I have always used is, hey, I'm sure you've seen my posts raving about Plexus. I'm just curious if you've tried it. And it's just as simple as that. And I try to send that to like probably 30 people a week. And I'll tell you guys right away, like, oh, most people will not respond, but you will get like 3 or 4 people in those 30 that will respond, and you can start conversations with them. And what she said today, the Diamond, she said to use instead, I'm sure you've seen my posts about Plexus. Has any, how did she say it? Has anything piqued your interest or anything like that? Because they may not be interested in the product, they may be interested in the business. So she said to say it like that. So that's my new venture.
That's a good one. Does anybody else have any question? Because I have one question that I want to ask her, but
I'll ask one. You talked about working to get your ambassadors to have the subscription on. Are you trying to just do that kind of as people are joining forward, or have you gone back to people and tried to get your current ambassadors who have it turned off to turn it on?
Like ambassadors that are already on my team?
Right. If they have it turned off, are you going to them to try to have them turn it on? Or are you just like from this point forward, when someone joins, you want them to give the 90 days?
From this point forward, I think.
Yeah.
I've kind of learned, that's another thing I've learned, is not to, like when I was trying to rank up to Ruby, I didn't want to rely on people who are inactive. I wanted to like rely on like new ambassadors or new people, because I don't want to constantly be going back to those people who are inactive and like, hey, you know, can you get active this month to help me out or something, you know, because I just feel like I just don't like doing it that way. So I'm kind of just focusing on ahead, you know, the new people and ahead rather than back in the people that are back there.
so good.
Good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else? Jackie, I have one question. You mentioned in the beginning that that someone on your team, like I think they got gold, but then they stopped, and so their whole leg like stopped with them.
Mm-hmm.
What would you personally do differently next time to avoid having that happen?
Well, I think that it's hard because, like, I'm thinking back to the way it was. There were a few people that I did, like, try to build relationships with, but most of them were just, like, wholesale people that, you know, it really was unavoidable, I think. But I do think it is important to build relationships with your people who that, like in your 2, 3, 4 people who you see that are working the business. I think it's really important to build those relationships with them, because I know for me, Johanna took me under her wing as her level 1 because Michelle hasn't really been able to work the business. And so if she wouldn't have done that, you know, it could have hurt her business. So I think it's really important to kind of adopt those people under your wing.
I totally agree. Reaching deep is never a bad idea.
Yeah.
Because you never know who's going to drop off or who's going to decide they don't want it or whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
Very good. Somebody asked a question in the chat. I don't know if you can see that. Was there no compression on that leg?
Compression. What does that mean?
Oh, compression as far as her, the runner dropped off. It sounds like the whole leg went with her.
Yeah, because like it was the gold ambassador. She kind of stopped working, but she had somebody underneath her that was like a rock star that stopped. And then everybody that was on her team just faded out. I think there's 2 people that still order from it, but there was probably like 20 people. So that was tough in the beginning because it went really fast at first and then it just went way down. But you just, I think if you push through those seasons, like it's like, and you know, I've been through 2 back office changes that have been a little bit challenging. So I think if you can push through all of those things and just not let those things move you and not get frustrated, not get angry, and just kind of work through it, then you'll make it to diamond in this business.
Totally agree, because even though the back office we think is stopping us in our tracks from doing our business, people are still advancing in rank. So if they're doing it, we can do it too. So excellent.
Yeah, definitely.
Johanna says, "You're so diamond, Jackie." That's so cute.
Lord willing.
So, okay. I think, unless you guys have another question, I think we're good to go. Jackie, thank you so much.
You're
that was super
welcome.
helpful. I took tons of notes.
Awesome.
So
I'm
I really
glad
appreciate your time.
that was my prayer, that it would help you guys. So I pray it does.
And seriously, what a rock star you are. How old's your baby?
He is 3 months old. I'll show him to you guys now. He's
Okay,
happy.
so
And he's so chunky. Say hi, guys.
oh.
3
So
months
think
old.
about that, guys. Newborn baby, 3 months old, advancing to Ruby. So I hope that helps you throw all of your personal excuses out the window, because there's hardly anything harder than having, and 3 other kids that are little, right? How old's your oldest?
I have an 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 3-year-old, and 3-month-old.
Yeah.
And I will
So-
have to tell you guys that the day that I was pushing for Ruby, it was madness in my house. It was crazy, insane. I thought I got like a cold sore because it was crazy. But I love it. I love it.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations on making Ruby. You're awesome. And I know you're going to
Thank
go
you.
with this. And it's been fun to watch your journey.
Amen.
And
All
thank
right.
you all. We'll see you. I don't know where we'll see you next, but have a great night.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie.
It was awesome. Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.